Right? And the Dalai Lama, when he first started teaching in the West, was shocked to find out that that was a Western illness, that in his culture there was no such thing. Because in his culture, everyone's educated to understand that life is fundamentally difficult. And so that when we start to suffer, we don't add shame and low self-esteem to the fact that, and try to hide it and then try to obliterate it with pharmaceuticals and drugs and yoga and meditation and everything else we try to, So that understanding is there, but of course it's not the whole of the Buddhist Dharma. The next statement is, therefore, compassion to yourself and to others is the appropriate response. Kindness. So, being compassionate to yourself and others is to do something about it. To do something that reduces and helps in the fundamental difficulties of life that we're having. Some that are so fundamental there's nothing you can do about it, right? But then there are other, our reaction to that fundamental difficulty. In the yoga language, the word is Duka. Yoga is the reduction of dukkha, the reduction of restriction around the heart. And there are some practical, common sense things that we can do to reduce the discomfort. Now, what certainly doesn't make a difference is when you're given some kind of social model as an ideal and given that to sort of look up to and aspire to. That makes you miserable. Get that straight. Whether that's yoga asana or some social spiritual ideal about how you should be or what you could attain, right? The models of human perfection inherently deny the perfection which is already in you as life itself. Got it? But let's not be naive that culture is built upon models of human perfection. Proposed social models that are sold in the marketplace as shoddy spiritual goods and used as an instrument of power to build empires. Based on this, we have a divine access, a special exclusive access through the Pope or somebody, right? The statement again is, the model of human perfection given to us by culture inherently denies the perfection which is already in you as your heartbeat and breath and sex.
But isn't that the fault of humanity since the beginning of time?
The idea of the holy personality is a recent development in history. When I say recent, about the last 2,500 years. As if there's an exclusive God person, implying that everything else is not God, right? And that you have to get to God through that agency, through that discipline, through that grotesque stamping of culture and everybody trying to turn out the same. All doing the same asana, doing the same meditation, trying to get to God as if God is absent. Let me make it very clear that yoga arose in a culture where that hadn't been invented. That everything is spirit. You know how it is in the indigenous cultures around the world. If you catch a fish, it's a spiritual occasion. If you see the moon, it's a spiritual occasion. If you see your wife, it's a spiritual occasion. Everything is God. Food is God, breath is God, sex is God, man, sun, moon is spirit happening, and we are that. That's the end of the story. And we are participating in that as our own life. See? That is yoga. However, yoga has been used by those male doctrines. And most of yoga in our modern society has been delivered through through the psychology of the male doctrines, where you're trying to get to God as if God is absent. And that's why yoga has become this exaggerated activity that you're trying to do on yourself, creating this dichotomy of where you are and where you could be if you were like Guruji. Or if you can do a backbend like this, or if you can do some sort of bodily or spiritual heroic feat on yourself, a heroic attainment, then you will get a little closer to this proposed social idea that is making mankind miserable, that's making a hell out of this abundant paradise. Right? So, I was saying, let's not be naive about it. That has gone into us like bad software.
Young children, and I don't want to pass it on.
So the more you realize, the more it will be automatically passed on. So I say that the social life, the fundamental basis of social life is adult intimacy. If you are doing yoga with your intimate other, then the children will get that as their model. Right? And this is what the whole subject is about today, is how to be intimate with life. And you can't just suddenly, through a good idea, start becoming intimate with somebody, your partner, unless it's supported by this intimacy of body and breath. Krishnamacharya said, this intimacy you can do. See, I can be intimate here with my own body and breath in the way that I just gave you. Well, sort of, that was an experiment, a stab at it, just a little sprinkle of principles. But you take those principles on and do that now, you will merge the polarities of your own system. In so doing that, automatically, without even thinking about it, the inner and outer polarity is increased, or comes into play, right? And you find there is more energy between you and your intimate others, right? And of course, especially your special intimate other. And then that's passed on to the children who get it, who see it in their daily life. Mother and father, or adult intimates, not in reaction to each other, but intimate with each other, and it comes through without even trying, because you're doing this each day. And I'm not kidding. Asana pranayama is Krishnamacharya would say, and who is Krishnamacharya? The teacher of our teachers. We're here because of him, because he taught Iyengar and Patabi Joyce and everybody else who's brought yoga into the West. He's saying, sadhana, that which can be done, is your asana and pranayama. So this beautiful statement that there is something practical that you can do, and that's be intimate with your own body and breath. Forget everything else, no matter how bad things got, planes flying into buildings, misery all around, no money, this, that, whatever's going on. Do your yoga. Be intimate with life as it's utterly given, and be absorbed in that. Right? As a result of that, here's your the polarity there. And just let me say what those hatha yoga is. It is the merge of these hatha, left and right, sun, moon, male, female. Right? So what we all just did is we merged left and right. We merged especially above and below, especially with the inhale and the exhale. We merged the front and back. And these all carry the male-female principles, you see. Left side, right side, above and below, front and back. It's a strong base and spine, soft crown and front, like this. And then, of course, up comes life and human others, and life moves life to life, and suddenly you're in my circle. See, I can receive you. You can receive another. And in that receiving of you is the power of life, is the function of life. It's how life functions as the merge of polarities, so powerful that it even creates new life. Right? The power of life is in the polarity of male and female.